Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome back. What is up? What is happening? How have you been? I have a day off. I was going to say in the middle of the week, but it's actually just in the beginning of the week. It's a Monday, and I have the day off. I have a doctor's appointment, and I was like, I have over a week's worth of sick pay, and I run out of time to use it in 15 days, so why not use one day? I'm rambling. I figured we could get on and we could just chat. I kind of have a topic I want to talk about. I also just kind of don't. Before we start, I have my coffee. I recommend getting coffee. Get your coffee, get your makeup, and let's chat. I have been noticing a lot of discourse online about the topic of influencers over consuming and like reviewers over consuming. And I see a lot of people, and it's specifically, I mean, it's kind of like one YouTuber who I like a lot of her content. I'm not going to name her because I don't want to send like any hate her way or get any hate from her fans. But it's this one YouTuber, and she is like, she talks a lot about like sustainability and overconsumption, but she does it more from a minimalist mindset, which is where I think she kind of gets this particular idea from. Essentially, the idea is, oh my god, I just dug my nail into my bronzer. But she talks a lot about influencers who overconsume, and a lot of stuff I agree with her on. I agree with her about, not just over consuming for the heck of it, not over consuming for the sake of content. But the one place where I kind of disagree with her is she talks a lot about influencers who, when they're doing declutters, they're like, don't, like, this is my job, you don't need to own this much makeup, find a few foundations you like, find a few products you like, and stick with those products. And I think that's a good thing. Like, their job is literally to review makeup and make sure you don't buy shit. Let's be real here. That's a beauty influencer's job, or a lot of their jobs. Like, there are a lot of influencers who I really like because they actually do weed out the bad products and, tell me what is good and what is bad. And I've gotten a lot of really good recommendations because of some of these influencers. And a lot of them, they do say stuff like, don't own this much stuff. I'm an influencer. You don't need to own this much stuff. It's my job to review makeup. And it makes sense. Tell me I'm not the only one who doesn't feel like this. Like, I feel like the hate is just kind of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is. It's not unwarranted, because, like, it is warranted critique. Like, at the end of the day, it is still over consuming, and I do get it. But, like, it is their job to review all this makeup. They get sent it. I work in a restaurant. Do you know how much waste we generate? Because orders get put in wrong. The line makes extra on accident. Just something happens, and there's a lot of waste in the restaurant industry. So I feel like I can't critique like people who say, don't create this much waste. It's a part of my job. Because in my personal life, I don't create that much food waste. I am very conscious about not wasting food. Like, if I make something, I eat it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If I make it, I'm eating it, and that's that. Even if I don't particularly like it, I will find a way to eat it. You are not your job. Your job is a thing you do for money, and it does not matter how passionate you are about your job. Like, even if you are a doctor, in my humble opinion, you're only a doctor when you're in a hospital. I'm sorry, but if it's like I'm getting coffee with you, I'm not getting coffee with a doctor. I'm getting coffee with a friend. You are so much more than your career. And although when you are self-employed, there is a higher level of responsibility for these things, I feel like if you're saying don't buy this much. I get sent so much makeup that I don't ask for in PR. Like, that's a different story. And yes, I understand that you can always ask to be removed from PR lists. I know a lot of influencers do ask to be removed from PR lists simply because they no longer want to deal with the amount of shit that influencers are sent. Sorry, I'm cussing a lot. It's early in the morning. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was supposed to have 2 doctor's appointments today, but one of them was virtual and they just never sent me the link. They claim they tried to, and there's something about like iCloud and yada yada yada. This is why I use Gmail. I feel like Google is just more compatible with like every single device, in my opinion. But yeah, and also it's my sister's death anniversary. She's been dead for 10 years on this day. So that was a part of why I didn't go to work, because my job is to be like nice to people. And when you are going through that, don't really feel like being nice to people today. I have a surgery consult today, and I can like tell I'm going to cry at least one more time today, so let's just hope and pray it's after that. I already cried from like frustration. But as I was talking about, like, I feel like you're not your job. Like, I'm an author, and that can generate a lot of waste. It can. I make personal choices to not generate a lot of waste. Some people like to edit just like paper manuscripts. I hate to do that. But every single copy of my book that I have in paperback, I buy it. Do I need to have that? No, but it's useful for my job. It helps me make content for my job. It helps me to market my job. Do I need that? No. No, obviously I don't. And like, I don't know. I think it's different when it is your job, because a lot of these influencers also say stuff like, anything I'm not using, I'm giving to friends and I'm giving to family. And this is why I do a once a year declutter, because I don't want my makeup to get so old that I can't just pass it along. And in my mind, it's like, that's the responsible thing to do. Obviously, yes, it would be in a perfect world, there would be no waste. But we don't live in a perfect world. And I'm very tired of people acting like we live in this beautiful dystopia. We don't. We live in a world where there are consequences to our actions, and we have to make the best choice to get the best consequence. And sometimes people don't make the best choices, because obviously, yeah, the best choice would be to say, yeah, you know, I don't want to be on all these PR lists. Please remove me, because you can do that. As an influencer, you can say, I don't want to be on these lists. Please remove me. Oh my god, you can still see like the just 12 pack of energy drinks. I tried to move it so y'all wouldn't see it. It was just sitting right up here. And I was like, I should probably move that. But nope, y'all can still see that. Yeah. You might be thinking, don't you have a cup of coffee every single, well, a 16-ounce coffee every single day? Yes, I do. But I get tired. I have 2 diagnosed chronic illnesses, and I'm getting surgery to diagnose another one. So, yay! So yeah, I need a lot of caffeine, and I actually probably shouldn't drink so much caffeine because it's really bad for your POTS. But I actually find my POTS feels better when I've had a lot of caffeine, or like a moderate amount of caffeine. It's sugar and coffee that I can't do. Sugar, if there's sugar in coffee, it makes me feel horrible for some reason. I think it's just like, when you drink coffee, there's the acid, and like that disrupts stomach, and then sugar also disrupts. It's too much. But yeah, like I was talking about, in a dystopia, yeah, people would choose not making as much money, because that's the thing, you can remove yourself from PR lists, but a huge part of being an influencer is reliant upon having like the new products, because that is what people like. You have to go where the views are, and so long as you are not grossly over consuming for every single video that you make, because I know so many influencers where it's like they will reuse the exact same product in like a bunch of videos. I think a really good example of this is Caitlin Costello. she is one of my favorite influencers to watch, and she will do a get ready with me with like the exact same palette 5 times, and she won't care, and I love that. I think sometimes when they talk about these influencers, they're talking more about like the really big ones, you know, the who are the big ones nowadays? I still think like the Manny MUAs, the Tatis, the Jeffree Stars, the James Charles, Manny MUA, Laura Lee, like those ones. I think I'm still thinking those ones, but I think maybe some people aren't. And I know overconsumption is more of a problem on TikTok. That's why I don't go over to TikTok. TikTok stresses me out. I don't do TikTok. I know logically, as someone who wants to make it as an independent author, I should do TikTok. But I don't do TikTok because I don't want to have to deal with the stress that comes from TikTok. Because I see how cranky all of y'all internet commentators who majority cover TikTok are, and I'm just not interested in that. I would so much rather chill on Instagram and YouTube where, yeah, it's a problem, but it's not as much of a problem. I'm not saying that like a small problem is not as bad as a big problem, but let's be real here. Small problems are not as bad as like big problems. Okay? Like having a cold is not as annoying as having cancer. Mind blowing, I know. Like, I feel like we can live in a society where we make small problems out to be as bad as big problems, and I get all feelings are valid. Like, yeah, if you're annoyed because you have a cold, that's valid. But don't compare it to having cancer. Don't compare, like, influencers who have 20 foundations to influencers who have 50 foundations. Because there is a difference. And I feel like there are some commentators, specifically in, like, the sustainability space, they have no nuance. They have a sense of you are either with me or you are against me. And this is why I don't watch them. Because I would rather not feel guilt for enjoying declutters. Some people are like, you shouldn't enjoy declutters because they promote overconsumption. And I'm like, they only promote overconsumption if the influencer actually bought all those products and like continue to use all those products. You do realize that influencers are marketers. At the end of the day, YouTubers, Instagrammers, that sort of stuff. Sorry, I'm gonna try and get the lighting. It's the middle of winter and I live in Alaska. If you don't like the lighting, don't complain about it. Pay for me to go to a nicer place. I don't know. Don't compare the two. If they were to be hoarding all of it, yeah, that would be a problem. But if they're not hoarding all of it, if they're continuing to pass it along, because they're reviewers. That is their job. Their job is to review products. They are essentially a step in product testing and in product marketing. Like, when you launch a product, you send it out to people to test. It's exactly like when I send out ARC copies. Now, do I send out ARC copies? No, I wait till my book is published. I will, like, this is something I'm just starting to do in 2025, as I'm going to get, like, paperback copies of my book, and I'm going to send it out to people, specifically people who live in the US, because I don't have money to send it internationally, which sucks because some of my favorite book creators and people who I think would really work well with my book, they live in like the UK, and it's so annoying, but I can't afford to ship to the UK. I might reach out and be like, hey, can I send you like a PDF? Like, or something like that. I don't know. Oh my god, I'm getting sidetracked. What I'm getting at here though is I think sometimes we are too hard on people who are trying their best to make an unsustainable job like at least remotely more sustainable. I work in a kitchen. I try to make that kitchen more, well, I don't work in a kitchen. I work in a restaurant. I try my best to make that restaurant more sustainable, it doesn't work. It does not work. It doesn't. There are, I mean, in a restaurant's a bit different because there are things like health code they have to follow. So it's different. But it's like, if somebody is trying, if they're saying, do not consume like you see the people on the internet consume, I feel like it's kind of not low, but like it's annoying when people are trying their best and you just continue to bitch and complain that their best is not enough. It's like, oh my god, bro. As I was talking about, it's annoying. It's like, dude, I get it. This is something you are passionate about. But you have to think people are also like, this is the thing. I am really into makeup. And I do my best to not overconsume with makeup. It is a hobby of mine. So I try my best to make it a less consumeristic process. And I succeed. But that is because it's a hobby. I think, yes, if you are a hobby makeupist, like you are a hobby makeup enthusiast, you don't need to buy every single launch. Maybe find one or two brands where it's like, okay, every single launch I want to have. But it doesn't need to be every single launch from every single brand. That's not what I'm like. I'm not talking about hobbyists here. I'm talking about people where it's their livelihood, it's their paycheck. I'm talking about the more medium-sized influencers where if they want to continue to do this as their job, they should probably do what the audience likes. Because at the end of the day, I hate to be this person, but we do live in a capitalistic society. We do live in a society which is driven by money. Like, it's the truth. I'm sorry. And I know a lot of us want to change this. I personally, like, I'm kind of like a libertarian socialist. I know the two do not go together. I believe the government should not be able to tell me what to do with my, like, the government should take care of me. And I know what is best for me. And the government should also take care of me. Like, I know what's best for me. Okay? Trust me. I have so many issues. Like, I'm ace, so it doesn't even matter. But you should not trust me with a child, is what I am getting at here. If I were to get assaulted and get pregnant, I'm just saying, in those first, like, 3 months, first 12 weeks, there's some leeway there. Once the baby has sentience, I would not do anything if I don't know how I'm getting to this debate already. But I also would like healthcare. Because we live in a capitalistic society and big corporations are not going to give me healthcare. It's just a fact. And we can try to change those corporations. We can. We can try to change the society that we live in. We really can. But we're probably not going to succeed. I hate to say it, but every single person who wants America to become a socialist country should probably move out of America. Because it's not going to happen. There are so many people in America who are not going to let that happen. I'm sorry. Or move to LA, where there are better, like, not LA, like California or New York, where there are better programs. But if you're living in Texas and you're like, I want America to be a socialist country, it's not going to happen. Move to a different state until you can afford to move to Canada or to move somewhere in Europe. It's not going to happen. And this is like the thing. I know that sounds like such a defeatist attitude, but at this point, I'm like tired. I acknowledge I have many health issues and I should get a good job while I'm young, and I should get a stable job that I can do for like the rest of my life until I can afford to retire and continue to have health care. It's like, I don't know, as nice as it is to have someone take care of me as nice as it is to have the government possibly take care of me, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to continue to plan accordingly. I think there is an idea of we can change the system we live in, and we can. We can change it for certain things. We can get, like, you can get rights, okay? All the rights that we have are because we fought for these rights. But at the end of the day, that was also in line with a lot of the ideology that America was built on. It was built on the idea of freedom. It was also, unfortunately, nowadays, it's so ingrained in the culture of capitalism, of big business. And they try to say, oh, we're small business supporters. No, you shop on Amazon. You can say, I shop through small businesses on Amazon. You're still shopping through Amazon. Shop through their website. Shop through their Etsy. Shop through something that does not take, like, if you find a small business on Amazon, go over to their website, because then they don't have to pay Amazon anything. But if you buy through Amazon, they're going to have to pay Amazon stuff. Okay. I digress. Yes, we could try to change the beauty scene, but we're probably not going to be able to, because it's like so ingrained in the culture that consumption is a part of it. You can't review something without like owning it and having tried it. And reviews are really in right now. I wish Get Ready With Me's were more popular. I really do. I love Get Ready With Me's. I love making them. I love watching them. They are some of my favorite content on the internet. But even Get Ready With Me's, you have to consume something. You have to own products. And some of the people who make this Discord, they just don't like makeup. It's like, I get it, you just don't like makeup. But you have your hobbies. I'm not gonna shit on your hobbies. Let me have my hobby, okay? Because I have makeup, I have books, and I have crafting. The books I get from the library, the makeup I have owned for years. This bronzer is like 5 bronzers I've owned for years. These eyeshadows I'm using are from many different palettes I've owned. Throughout the years, I've depotted and made into my own little personal favorite, oh my god, I hit pan. My own little favorite, like, palette. And crafting, yeah, that's something where it's, like, very hard to not over-consume, because you gotta keep consuming in order to keep doing it. It's an expensive hobby. That's why it's such an expensive hobby, but it's also something, like, in a couple months, am planning on opening up an Etsy shop to just kind of sell the stuff that I make, because I don't want, like, it's not like it's junk. It has value, right? Like, I make washcloths, has value. Dish towels have value. Pot holders, value. Meditation beads, prayer beads, value. But I don't need 50 billion of them, but I like to make them. So I'm just gonna sell them. That's my plan. And as you can see, that might be part of why I think, like, how I think. I am a part of many different hobbies where you have to consume. Because, yeah, you can read the same book over and over and over and over again, but eventually you're gonna get bored of that book. And there are ways to try and make reading more sustainable, stuff like libraries, e-files, although then you have to get into the whole, well, what about the energy consumption? And I'm not going to, like, get into the debate of which is better, ebooks or paperbacks, because I don't know. I'm not educated enough in that debate. But I can just say, let people consume within a reasonable amount and stop dogpiling on influencers and start going after corporations. Have you ever thought about that? Take all that energy that you put into, like, hating on so many influencers and go after corporations. I'm sorry, but, like, that is... If you want change, go over the people who keep the system the same. And I want change too, but right now, I'm kind of too tired to go and fight for change. So I will live my life being like, yep, I'm gonna have to buy health insurance. I mean, don't get me wrong. Once they start saying you can go to concentration camps for being gay, I'm gonna fight then. I very much believe that you have the choice before like 16 weeks to, do what you need to do. I believe everyone has a right to marriage. I believe that should be a government right. Now, I do have thoughts on, like, I do believe that if a priest does not want to perform marriage, for whatever reason, yeah, they're an asshole. But legally, they should have the right to say no. And as someone who is a part of the queer community, I wouldn't want them performing my marriage anyway. Because my marriage would not be a marriage they approve of. My marriage would be more of a platonic union. It would not be a traditionalistic, man goes to work, woman raises children marriage. No, it would probably be me with like my closest female friend being like, do you want to just get married for tax benefits? Yeah, let's get married for tax benefits. Sweet. By the way, we're gonna still have a 2-bedroom apartment. Oh yeah, no, I figured. That would be what my marriage would be. And I can assure you a lot of pastors would not be approving of that, and I wouldn't want them to perform my union. I wouldn't. That doesn't make them not an asshole. See where I'm getting at here? Like, it's all about personal freedom, and like, if you want to change the system, don't go after individual people. Go after the people who keep, not even the people, the corporations who keep the system how it is. Right now, the people who are keeping the corporation, like, not, right now, the corporations who are keeping the system how it is, I sound like a conspiracy theorist. I know, because this is how my libertarian coworker conspiracy theorist talks. But you know what? We agree on a lot of stuff. So, yeah, no. Although, she reminds me of my dad, which I love my dad, but that's not entirely coming from someone who is kind of a socialist. That's not entirely, like, that's the thing. I support socialist ideals. I don't believe America will ever be a socialist country. Not because I'm against it. I would love it if it were. I just believe it's never going to. That's not a feasible dream that a lot of us have. But see, I make the choice to stay in America because it's where my family is. Now, do I have family in Germany? Yes. But I don't want to leave my family that I actually know. You know? And oh my god, it's expensive to get to Germany. I don't understand why we can't fly over Russia. It's a lot cheaper than going down to LA. Like, tell me why I have to go to Boston to then get, like, it doesn't make sense. It's the exact same thing. If you're, like, going to Asia, sometimes they literally have you fly, like, all the way around the world. And it's like, you do realize it's way shorter to just fly from here to Japan, because I live in Alaska, than it is to go from here to Seattle to Boston or New York, and then to, like, Japan from there. It's a whole thing. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's kind of my whole rant, is stop attacking individual influencers and, like, start attacking the companies who keep the system how it is. Start telling companies, no, you don't need to launch 4 highlighters in a year, because they don't. They really... I'm actually filming another video today, and it's going to be on this exact same thing of new releases. I swear to God, ColourPop already had liquid highlighters, and I think it's a shade expansion, and they just never said it. But ColourPop, you already have liquid highlighters. You don't need more. You don't. Anyway, I'm almost done with my makeup, well, my eye makeup, and I'm kind of running out of stuff to talk about. So I just gotta, like, continue to yap about how it's about changing the corporation. And it's like, literally, just stop supporting them. It's that easy. It's not hard to not buy stuff. In fact, it's easier to not buy stuff if you have some self-control. That's the problem. A lot of these people, they don't have self-control, and so they just keep buying. Gain self-control. Self-control, here's the thing. That's another place where I fall away from a lot of, like, I'm never sure what to consider myself, because I'm very much on the left. I'm very progressive. But at the same time, I was raised by 2 conservatives. My mom is also progressive now. Like, she is very hardcore liberal, but she was a Republican when I was growing up. She hates it when I bring that up. but she was one. um, and so I kind of have that ideology of like, if you want something done, do it yourself, and also of just have some discipline. Because I was also raised very religious, and like purity culture has effect on me, but it's no longer about like sex and like it's about like just like consuming. It's literally it. People are like, it is moral to deny your values, not your values, your desires. Yes, don't buy stuff. Cancel that Amazon shipment, Rebecca. That was like so like I'm sorry, but in my mind, like what's the word that I'm looking for? It's like it wouldn't be like it's kind of denial. Denial is a virtuous thing in my mind. And I know a lot of people are like, that's a toxic mindset or whatever. It's like, dude, I will deny myself stuff till the end of time because I do believe it is virtuous to like not give in to every single whim of what you want. Sorry, I thought I'd hit pan there again. Like it in my mind, it's a good thing to not just buy everything you want, to not just like do everything you want. Learn self-control. We live in a society where you can have everything, and so you demand everything, and you shouldn't demand everything. That's the thing. I think a lot of people are entitled to a lot of things, and that's another thing we as like because that's the thing. The people, sorry, let me get my mascara so I can be multitasking while doing this. I've noticed that a lot of people who like will talk about how harmful the idea of restriction, that's the word I'm looking for. I think restriction in certain things is a virtuous thing. Self-denial is a very virtuous thing. I believe it is pivotal to having a functioning society is all of us denying urges because we know it will better society. No, I don't buy all this stuff because I know that somewhere in China there is a kid in a sweat factory, like in a sweatshop, who is being made to, like, being forced to make this thing. So I don't buy it. And the same people who oftentimes are, like, really progressive about these things, they don't like the, like, self-denial mindset because it is so tied in with stuff like purity culture. And I'm like, purity culture itself, harmful. The idea of not giving in to every whim you have, in my mind, very virtuous. The two can exist at the same time, and I'm tired of people acting like they can't. Like, don't get me wrong, I can believe that purity culture screwed me up and made me hate my body and made me just hate myself because I don't like men, but I'm not supposed to like men until I'm 16. And then I can like men romantically, but I can only like men sexually until we are married. That just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And then I didn't like men, and they were like, going against God's will, not getting into the celestial kingdom. Well, wait, celestial? Which one was it? Outer darkness. I'm sorry if you're a Mormon with me now. Mormons don't really. I was never actually entirely like told if we believed in hell or not. Well, if they believed in hell or not. When I was in Mormonism, I was never sure if I was supposed to believe in hell, but I'm Lutheran now, so I believe in hell. Like, but it's kind of for if like you're like a tyrant, if you're a murderer, a rapist, a pedophile. That's when I believe in hell. I don't give a fuck if you're gay. I don't care if you curse. Obviously, like no, that stuff, cursing, no, not be your sexuality. Your sexuality is never a sin unless it's, well, pedophilia is a mental illness, not a sexuality. I stand by that. Yeah. But, like, your sexuality is not a sin, but, like, cursing, maybe. Alcohol, maybe. That sort of stuff, maybe. Sex before marriage, maybe. Maybe it's a sin, but that's when Jesus died. Like, I'm just saying. Jesus died so that way I could cuss, guys. I know it sounds weird, but like he acknowledged we were imperfect human beings. And when I get angry, yes, I do cuss at people. I cussed up a storm in my therapist's voicemail because they keep sending stuff to my mom, and I'm like, I literally spend split time between here and another place. I have my own apartment. I don't talk to my mother. Stop sending my mother my stuff. I was so upset. And the person just calls me back and they're like, so I got your voicemail. And I'm like, it's been a long day. Okay, I'm going to go do the rest of my base and then I'll be back. I'm back. If I look very blushed, it is because the Juvia's Place blush is very pigmented and I forgot that and put on way too much. I did my best to blend it out and like use some powder to buff it out and everything. But as I was saying, the conclusion of today's video is don't like attack the people, attack the corporations. Because I'm not gonna say, let's be honest here, it's the corporation's fault, but it's kind of the corporation's fault. The corporation set up the system. Also, yes, I believe that, like, you know, denying yourself something you want is a virtuous thing. I do believe that. I will never not, well, I might not believe that someday. Who knows? I can always change my beliefs. I'm always changing. I'm always like, that's, I don't know. But I never expect other people to agree with my beliefs. So if you believe that there's nothing wrong with buying everything you want, okay, I'm not going to agree with you on that. I'm going to actually believe that you're kind of immoral and selfish because there are consequences to your actions. But if you want to believe that, fine. I'll let you believe that. Yeah. Anyway, change the system. Attack the system. Don't attack people and expect the system to change. Because here's the thing, even when you're attacking the really big influencers, you're not attacking the people at the top. The people at the top are the people in the makeup companies who decide to launch a thing every month. You don't need to launch one product every single month. And don't even get me started on how stuff like TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat has like Reels type things too now, don't they? And like YouTube Shorts, every single social media company that promotes these short form content videos, I was gonna say things, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, they are promoting a short attention span. It is linked to it. It's linked to short attention spans, less patience, less like I can't remember the exact word that I'm looking for, but like it's when you deny yourself something. It's like you want something, like you want to buy something, but you don't. Because they promote so much of buy it now, buy it now, buy it now before it's gone. And limited edition culture, I hate limited edition culture. Stuff should be around for at least 2 years before you discontinue it. That is my unpopular opinion. Okay? Stuff should be around for at least 2 years before you discontinue it, okay? Like, I don't care if you're a clothing brand, I don't care if you're a makeup brand, I don't care if you're a book company. I don't care what you do, keep it around for 2 years before you discontinue it. And no, it's not the most financially responsible or wise thing, but it drastically gets rid of this mindset of I need to buy it now, or it's gone. It's why I don't buy companies who do, like, buy from companies who do stuff like that. I don't support companies who do the whole buy it now or it's gone forever. I don't. Like, I know for a fact the Naked palette will probably come back another time. I bought it because I've wanted it for years. I wanted it as soon as I found out about it, and then I found out it was discontinued, and I was like, well, dang, I'll let it go then. And then it came back, and I was like, I'm not letting it go this time. I want it, and I do love that palette. I need to pull it out, but I've been working on hitting pan on this specific eyeshadow. So I think now that I have, I might pull that out a few times. It's also my go-to, I forgot to get up, and I'm running late palette because it's so easy to blend. I love that thing. Anyway, back on topic. I should probably get going. I do have other stuff. Well, I have another video to film, and I have to do Instagram content. I don't have to do Instagram content, but I want to do Instagram content because I'm kind of slowly getting back in the groove of that. yeah. Anyway, I don't have like my actual job to do today, so I'm gonna do a bunch of other stuff until like 1:30 when I have to leave for my doctor's appointment. And even though when I get back from my doctor's appointment, no offense to my mom, who is wanting to do something to commemorate my sister, I went and saw her on Friday. I went and saw her grave. I talked to her. Actually, I couldn't find her grave, so I kind of stood in the graveyard and just talked out loud to her. There was no one else there, so I didn't feel bad. Her neighbors overheard everything. I was actually talking to one of her neighbors. But I swear I checked like every single tombstone and I could not find her. I just remember she was buried next to a lot of Mormons, which we find really funny because when we buried her, we were Mormon, and so she has the angel Moroni on her tombstone. No, we live in Alaska. There's a lot of Mormons up here for some reason. Uh, Probably because we're very much like a libertarian state. I have a lot of work to do today, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Don't fear though. Well, actually, no. The video I'm about to film, y'all are gonna see first. Don't fear, because I'll be back someday. And if you miss me, you can always hop on over to my Instagram where I sometimes post. I sometimes post. If you really miss me, buy my books. Then you can read them whenever you want. There's Happy Accidents and there's Blackout. Happy Accidents is, oh, it's all by Kai Ferris Meadows. Happy Accidents is a romance novel, and Blackout is a sci-fi fantasy contemporary hybrid that I love and adore and worship. And I need to edit the sequel today desperately because I'm so behind on that, and then I need to finish the other sequel today too. Okay. End of the video. Change the system. Go after corporations, not individual people, because even if you're going after the most public people, you're not actually going after the corporations. Okay. See you next time.